Hey guys, welcome to episode number 575. Today is Monday, so it's Update Monday, and today we are going on another road trip to the Tropical Fish Society of Rhode Island's spring auction. I love the Tropical Fish Society of Rhode Island. They always have a really good auction. There's a great selection of fish, plants, and all kinds of aquarium decor. So, we're going on a road trip. I've got a few things to pack up. Hopefully we can find some fish and maybe some plants while we're there. But before we get started, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Also, if you want to help support this channel, you can always go check out myaquariumbox.com and betaoasis.com. All right, let's pack some stuff up, then we're gonna hit the road. Then we will be at the Tropical Fish Society of Rhode Island's spring auction. So come along with me and learn how to be a better aquarist.
Bushy nose, 4 adult super red bushy nose. Nice bag of fish. 20. I got a $20 bid. How about 22? 22, 24, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46, 46 in the back and 48. I got 46 and 48. Anybody have 48? 46 and 48. 48, 50, 50 in the back and 52. Anybody at 52? 52, 54, 54 in the back. 56, 56, 58. I got 58 in the back. You want to go 60? 58 in the back over 60. Anybody at 60? $60 right here. 62. Anybody at 62? I got 60 over 62. Sold right here. $60, 166.
Lot number 108473, a trio of high-fin red lyre-tail swords.
Okay, some red high-fin lyre tails. Give me 8 to start. $8 on the fish. 8 for 3 high-fin lyre tails. $8. Anybody at $8? 8. I got 8. How about 10? Anybody at 10? Nice size. 10, 12, 12 in the back. 14, look 14. I got 12 there, look 14. 14, 16. Anybody at 16? I got 14 there, look 16 in the back, over 18. 16 in the back, over 18. Anybody at 18? 16 over 18. Sold. 16, 127.
Alright guys, and we are back from the auction. We had a lot of fun today. We actually picked up quite a few fish today, and we will get to those in just a minute. They are currently acclimating, but while we wait, I wanted to go over a few questions that I always get when I go to an auction. The first of which is, where is my nearest auction? How do I get involved? How do I go to my first auction? Now, if you have never been to an aquarium auction, I highly suggest you do it. If you have even one aquarium, it's definitely worth going to an auction just for the experience. What I would recommend is going on Google and typing in the name of your nearest city, and then also typing in Aquarium Society or Tropical Fish Society or Fish Club, and hopefully there is something in your area. If not, it might be a little bit of a drive to find one, but they are all over the place. And the closer you live to a major city, the better your chances are of finding one. And if one doesn't exist, you can always start one, or at least try to start one if you get enough people together who are also interested in doing something like that. Now, that being said, there are quite a few clubs out there already. Most of these auctions are open to the public. All you have to do is walk in and you can buy a bidder card, usually for a couple dollars, and then you can sit down in a chair and you can watch things happen, and you can bid on some fish. It's usually a good idea to bring a pocket full of cash with you, and if you have stuff in your fish room that you've been breeding, or if you have extra plants or extra supplies, pack all that stuff up and bring it with you, because chances are you can probably sell that in the auction as well. Now, what I like to try to do is break even on the day. If I take out $100 from the ATM, I want to try to leave the auction with $100 still intact. But if I see something I really like, I will drop the money, even if it means I lose money on the day. But if I can break even by selling stuff and then also buying stuff at the same time, it's perfect. All it takes is really your afternoon to go to a fish auction, and you can get all kinds of new stuff that you don't have, and you can give away stuff to people that are looking for the things you have. It's a win-win for everyone. Alright, once you've been to a few fish auctions, once you have that under your belt, you probably feel a little bit more comfortable. You know what's going on, you know what you can bring with you, which is going to make money. And oftentimes different auctions have different systems. Sometimes, like, there's a bucket bag auction, which means the fish club will take the first dollar from every bag that's sold, and then everything else goes to the person that brought that bag. There's other auctions where it's like a 50-50 split. The club takes half of whatever you make from a sale in the auction. Sometimes it's like $3, sometimes it's $2. It really depends. Every club is a little bit different, so you definitely want to check the rules before you bring big, expensive fish that may not sell for a whole lot of money. And that usually is what happens. So you have to be prepared to let stuff go, and it's probably going to go for a lot less than it's worth. But that's okay, because as long as you're buying, you can also pick up some stuff that you want for a lot less than it's worth, and in the end, it all evens out. All right, so with all of that in mind, after you go to an auction, how can you make the most of your experience? I've talked about this a few times in the past, but this is the first time I'm giving you the Greg Jones fish auction strategy. That's right. Only the nerdiest people will come up with a strategy for how to go into a fish auction and succeed at bidding at the things that you really, really want. Now, it's really easy to walk in and just flash your card and buy stuff, but oftentimes you may end up overpaying and you may not get the things that you necessarily want before you run out of money in your pocket. So you have to be prepared, you have to do a little bit of research, and you have to know what you're there for. that can go a very long way towards making sure that your dollars are as productive as possible when you're at an auction. All right, so let's take a look at this real quick so you can get a sense for what's going on. Usually these auctions have tables that are set up, and those are marked here as sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 0. So each table has its own number, and when you bring in a whole bunch of lots, bags of fish, you get a bidder number and then you get a lot number. And that lot number, the last number on that lot, corresponds with the table that you're supposed to put that bag on. So everyone brings their stuff in, they label everything, they lay it all out on the tables, and then everyone else can go up and look at all of the fish and plants that are on each table. This is the point in time where you want to start taking notes at the auction. I like to write on the back of my bidder card, and I just like to note the lot number, what the item is, and how many of each fish or species is in the bag. And so when you go through that, it may look something like this in blue, where you just have a bunch of different lot numbers, the species like Endler, and then like a dozen fish in the bag, right? And you just walk down the row, look at all the tables, find all of the best stuff that you're really interested in, and list all of it, because it's going to be really important to making sure you don't miss it when it comes up for sale in the actual auction. Also important to note, usually they allow you to bump bags. And so what often happens is, if you are a club member, you'll get some free bump stickers that you can place on any bag you want, and those bags will move to the front of the line, and those are auctioned off first. Now, with that said, usually what they do is like a random lottery for the table order. So it's a random table order, and so as you can see here, table number 6 is going to be auctioned first, then 4, then 1, then 0, then 9, and so on until you get through all of the tables in the show. And this is just random luck. If you happen to see that there's a lot of stuff on table 2 that you're really interested in, well, you're either going to need to bump all those bags, or you're going to need to wait until the end of the auction for all of that stuff to come up, which isn't a bad thing if you've got the time. Oftentimes at the end, most people have spent their money and they've all gone home, and stuff goes for really, really cheap. So definitely worth sticking around for. However, other people, if they see something they like and it's the same thing you like, they may bump that to the top. So you always have to be listening to make sure that one of your lots doesn't get bumped before it's scheduled to come up for auction. All right, so you've made your list. You know everything that you're looking for at the show. You know the table order. You've walked through and you've looked at all of the fish on all of the tables. You've taken all of your notes. You need to know exactly what each one of these things is worth and how much you're willing to pay for it. Doesn't make sense to pay more than you would at a retail store for this stuff, so you want to make sure that you're not overspending on any of these items. So, for instance, a dozen Endlers. I probably wouldn't spend more than like $6 or $8 on a dozen Endlers, but if they were really beautiful, if they had really great color, maybe I would spend $1 a fish. And that's a really easy way to do quick math in your head when you've got that card up to decide when it's time to call it quits and pull your card down. So for mystery snails, I might pay $2 a snail. For swordtails, I might pay $2 or $3 per fish. So you want to know roughly what everything is worth before you start bidding on it. However, if you have gone to an auction with the intent of buying only 1 or 2 species, and there's only a limited number of those lots available, you want to make sure that you win those. Otherwise, you're going and you're not going to get anything at the end of the day, or you're not going to get the stuff that you wanted. And sometimes that happens, but it also pays to be a little aggressive for the things that you really want to purchase. If you want it just a little bit more than someone else that's bidding on it, oftentimes you'll win. Of course, you don't want to overpay drastically, but you do want to pick up the things that you absolutely want. So with that in mind, here is a quick list, some examples of some lots that I've just made up along with the table order list here. And I want to walk through my thought process here with each one of these things. So 803, that's the lot number. 1 dozen Endlers. Number 3 is way down here. So table number 3 isn't going to get called until close to the very end of the show. It's probably not worth waiting around that long for 1 dozen Endlers when table 108, which is up here, there's a bag of 24. So that's an important thing to note. So even though we want this, we're probably not going to wait around for it. It probably makes sense to bid on this one here, which is more fish, and it comes up sooner in the list. All right, next up, 916. There's the lot number, mystery snails, 6 of them. So in this case, 6 is really early, and what might actually happen is people are going to overpay for that because it's very early and everyone is around and everyone has money. So if there's another lot of mystery snails that's later on, you'll probably get a better deal. But this is one of those items where I would probably leave it alone. Oftentimes I don't bid on anything that comes up on the first table or anything that gets bumped immediately at the very beginning of the show. That's usually actually when I'm filming everything because everyone else is spending all their money bidding against each other, and I'm just sort of waiting until the bidding dies down a little bit and it gets more reasonable. All right, the next one up here is lot number 111, 8 Swordtails. This gets a check mark. That's a really good lot. We probably want to bid on this one. 1 is up here. This is actually a perfect position. This is the 3rd table. Bidding's going to die down a little bit. We're probably going to swoop in and get those for a pretty good price. Now, like I was saying, 108. This is one of those lots that we're really interested in getting, and it's about midway through the show. So the reason I've drawn a line here is this is probably when we want to leave the show, because afterwards there's not a whole lot left on these tables that we're interested in, and this is really the last big lot that we're interested in picking up. So that's where I would leave the show after I bid on lot number 108. All right, 722, we've got 12 Swordtails. Now, if lot 111 goes well and we get these 8 Swordtails, we may want these 12 Swordtails to sort of make a big colony of Swordtails, especially if it's the same variety. So 722, 2 is way down here at the bottom. There's no way that's coming up for bid, you know, in a reasonable amount of time. So I put a circle around that and a check mark. That is the lot we want to bump. If we're going to bump anything, this is the lot to bump. To get it up, I would put it somewhere close to after we bid on this one here to make sure that we've gotten 2 groups of Swordtails basically back to back, or as close to back as possible. If you do that, then you've got a good, healthy breeding group of fish for multiple lots, maybe multiple sources, and you can go home with a nice new colony and a new breeding project, which is always nice. All right, lot 344, 4 is up here. Endlers, 6 Endlers. Now this is one of those ones that people may slightly overpay for because it's only on the 2nd table and it's only 6 fish. So chances are, you know, if you only have 2 trios in a bag or something like that, it's not quite enough to get your breeding program off the ground. So I would bid on that one, but I wouldn't get super crazy about the amount of money that I spend on it, because without the lot of 2 dozen, which is over here, this one isn't as valuable to us. All right, 501 Java Moss, 1 cup. 501, 1 is up here. Again, it's a pretty good position in terms of table number. However, I might just save my money and hold on to it and buy other things that are a little bit more valuable. If you buy a whole lot of little things for small amounts of money, sometimes when the big thing comes up that you really want, you don't have the cash in your pocket to buy it. So I could take or leave this one depending on what it comes out to for price. All right, lot number 400, 10 Swordtails, awesome position. Table number 4, that's about the time people get up to get something to eat or drink or go to the bathroom, and you know, most people have already bumped all of the stuff they're interested in. A few people may have already left with everything that they've bumped, so that is a good time to pick that lot up. You probably want to bid really aggressively right around here on like table number 4 for these 10 Swordtails. If you can pick up the 10 Swordtails here and the 12 Swordtails here, you'd have a great breeding group of Swordtails. And then the last one here, 606, 3 Amazon swords. 6 is way up top. People are gonna overbid for that all day long. So there's no reason to bid on that. Even if you want it, no reason to bid on it. So by going through this as an example, I hope what you can see is that if we are able to pick up something like this, and this, and this, we have a really good breeding group of Swordtails. Also, if we're able to pick up something like this, and maybe something like this, but we probably don't even need that, we have a really good breeding group of Endlers. And if we're able to buy basically 2 good breeding groups of fish at an auction, I would consider it a good use of my time and a successful auction. Again, you don't want to go too wide in the number and the species, like the variety of stuff that you're buying, because when you bring all that home, you need tank space for it. You probably need to quarantine it. And if you've got to put 1 or 2 fish here and there and in a bunch of different tanks, it gets all spread out. So you might as well just focus on a few things, be a little bit aggressive on the amount of money you're willing to spend on those things, and make sure that you get those lots. All right, that was a lot of information, but I hope with that information you can sort of get a general sense for how I like to approach auctions and how I think you will be successful if you go to an auction as well. Now, one last tip, and this is the thing that can drive the auctioneers crazy. If you are putting your card up and taking it down, and putting your card up and taking it down, and being a little cutesy with like how high up your card is or how low your card is, the auctioneers are going to completely ignore you. It's wasting everyone's time. It's not just wasting their time, it's wasting everyone's time. They want to get through the bidding process for each lot as quickly as possible. So if there's that lot of 24 Endlers or that lot of a dozen Swordtails that I absolutely want, I just hold my card up. I stand in the back of the room and I hold my card up and I wait until everyone is done bidding, because that will allow people to get through. You know, someone that's only willing to spend $10 is going to drop their card. I've still got mine up, even if it costs me $16 or whatever it is, I've still got it up. Win the bid, and that bag is done, and then everyone moves on to the next one. There's nothing worse than the auctioneer trying to guess if someone's going to raise their card again or not. So if you really want it, keep your card up. If you don't want it, don't bother bidding on it. It's that simple. All right, well, that was a lot of information to take in. Hopefully you learned a few things about fish auctions and a little bit of strategy behind how to win auctions and get exactly what you want. Let's go take a look at these fish now that they've acclimated and see exactly what I got at the Tropical Fish Society of Rhode Island's auction. Alright guys, and that's gonna do it for this week's video. We had a ton of fun at the Tropical Fish Society of Rhode Island's annual auction. Hopefully you guys got to check out my live stream that I did the day of the auction. If not, you can go check that out in my channel. That gives you a really good sense for what an auction is really like. I was recording, live streaming for almost an hour straight at the auction, so definitely check that out. Hopefully this video served as a little bit more information and a little bit more of an overview of the event itself, and hopefully you guys liked the Montezuma Swordtails and the Ameca Splendens that I picked up at this year's spring auction. It was a ton of fun to be there. I loved the fish that I was able to pick up. As you guys know, I love endlers. I love wild type live bearer fish. So the ability to pick up a big breeding group of Montezuma swords and some more Ameca Splendens to add to my 40-gallon breeder that has Ameca Splendens was really awesome. I'm starting to see some baby Ameca Splendens already. It's been a few months, but now the colony is expanding. I think I have enough genetics in that tank to give me a lot of fish moving into the future. And hopefully these Montezuma swords can start breeding as well. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a ton of fun this weekend. I encourage you to go check out your local fish clubs and find out when their auctions are happening, because you definitely don't want to miss out on them. If you watch aquarium videos on YouTube all day long, you deserve to go to an auction. And speaking of auctions, one of the biggest auctions in the New England area is coming up in just a few weeks. The NEC's annual convention, the Northeast Council of Aquarium Societies annual convention, is coming up in just a few weeks in the middle of April. You can go check out their Facebook page, you can go check out their website, and if you decide to go, make sure to drop by the My Aquarium Box booth. Make sure to definitely be there for Sunday. If you could only pick one day, get there on Sunday for their gigantic fish auction. It's one of the biggest fish auctions in the Northeast, and it is definitely worth going to. Hope you guys enjoyed all of this information on fish clubs, fish shows, all things fish and fish strategy. It was a lot of fun to put it together. As always, if you want to help support this channel, you can go check out myaquariumbox.com and betaoasis.com. And if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, definitely hit the subscribe button down below. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys later.